Ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, and seekers of personal growth and sustainable prosperity, it is an honor to stand before you today. In a world that moves faster than ever, where data flows at the speed of light and ideas can cross oceans in a flash, we stand at the center of an extraordinary time. This is not just a time of change, it is a time of transformation. And in moments like these, one thing becomes clear. Science is not just an academic discipline, it is a source of hope. We are living proof that knowledge, driven by curiosity, strengthened by collaboration, and empowered by integrity, can reshape the future. Look around you. Today's breakthroughs were yesterday's pipe dreams. From decoding the human genome to picking up signals from the farthest reaches of the universe, science has not only extended our lives, but also expanded the boundaries of our imagination. But let me be clear, this progress doesn't come automatically. It requires all of us, every single one of us, to choose action over apathy, reason over fear, and unity over division. It requires us to dare to ask the hard questions, to accept failure as part of the learning process, and to relentlessly focus on what matters most, building a better world. Now more than ever, we need science not just in the lab, but in our classrooms, in our communities, and in our everyday conversations. We need science as a common language, a compass through uncertainty, and an inspiration to keep moving forward, not just for the next discovery, but for the next generation. You see, optimism is not naive, it's inevitable. Because if we believe in our collective power to create, to educate, and to lift each other up, then nothing, really nothing, is impossible. So today, I invite you not just to listen, but to feel, to be curious, to be challenged, and above all, to believe. Because these are not just numbers and facts. These are our futures. Let's get started. To be successful in life, you often have to trust your instincts. You have to listen to your intuition and sometimes your parents' advice. They may not be right, you may be wrong, but the important thing is to take action. That's the key to being a winner. You have to have a winner's mindset. Without that mindset, you will never achieve what you want. Many truly successful people have chosen to go against the flow, but you need to have a strong belief in yourself. You have to be the right person for these challenges. Few people do, but when you do, having a mentor is a great thing. One of the most important things in life is to be clear about who you really want to be. Not just what you do, but the kind of person you want to be. When you have that clarity, you have direction. You have purpose. And more importantly, you have a compass to guide you through life's challenges. And if along the way you are lucky enough to find a true mentor, someone who has walked the path you are on, who is willing to guide you, challenge you, and believe in you, that is a precious gift. A good mentor does more than just give you advice. They reflect who you could be, sometimes before you even realize it. But mentorship and growth don't happen in isolation. Every journey involves interaction, negotiation, collaboration, and sometimes conflict. Dealing, whether in business, in life, or even with yourself, can be tough. There are egos, there are expectations, and there are always surprises. I learned something very important at a young age. When you're dealing with a boss or authority figure, keep it simple. Be clear, be flexible, and cooperate when possible. You won't always agree with them, and that's okay. Learn to work with others, not against them. That's how trust is built. And when you commit to something, a goal, a deal, a dream, follow through. Be consistent. Be trustworthy. That's how you build credibility. And trust me, credibility is everything. One small mistake can cost you credibility, disrupt your progress, and close doors that may never open again. In today's fast-paced, short-lived world, what people remember isn't just what you did. See, it's about keeping your word, how you conduct yourself, and whether you're trustworthy. But perhaps the most important thing I want to share today is this. Always stand up for yourself. Be your own advocate. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to fight for you. People can support you. They can encourage you. They can believe in you. But you have to show up, speak up, and keep going, even when things get tough. And when you succeed, and I believe you will, having a mentor to celebrate with you, to remind you of how far you've come and how much better things are ahead, that's a priceless reward. So today, I want to leave you with this. Be clear about who you want to be. Find people who can guide you. And more importantly, listen to them. Keep your word. Build trust. And no matter how hard it gets, never stop standing up for yourself, because life is what you write. When people come to buy a product, especially rich people, they pay attention to every little detail. If something is wrong, they will notice it immediately and it will affect the value of the product. You should never beg when you are trying to sell something. If the product is not suitable, accept it and relax, but never try to sell by force. Although thinking outside the box may sound like a cliché, if you really want to be successful, that is the way you need to do it. For me, thinking big is always easier. It is easier to attract capital and finance than doing small jobs in places where no one cares. Nothing beats real estate. It is more valuable than stocks, and I believe that is a good sign. I always think location is important, but the person behind the deal is much more important than the location. I would rather have a smart and talented person making a deal in a bad area than a bad person in a great location. You will always make money. It's like watching someone sell a used car without washing it. You can spend $10 on a car wash and sell it for $200 more. I've seen people selling cars without taking care of them, and I think they're losing. The market is really attractive. If you price it too high, all of a sudden no one will buy it. If you price it too low, the market will swallow you. You have to get the price right, otherwise the big guys won't respect you. To be a true leader, you have to earn that respect. Contractors are a very special group. They are tough, they are smart, they didn't go to Harvard or Wharton, but they are as smart as anyone who did. You have to know how to work with them, and you have to be strong, because they will not hesitate to take advantage of you if you are not careful. A positive attitude is the most important factor, and confidence is the deciding factor. If you don't have a positive attitude in your work and life, you will not be successful. Negotiation is a delicate skill. Sometimes you have to be tough, sometimes you have to be soft. It depends on who you are working with. I always say that negotiation is not a skill that can be learned easily. It is almost instinctive. A natural negotiator never gives up. You can change your strategy and be flexible, but never give up. I know a lot of smart people who went to Wharton, but I also know people who are not as smart, and they are the ones who are leading the industry today. They are the ones who persevere and never give up. In the early 90s, I was having a hard time. There was a big article that said everything I did was successful. Everything I touched turned to gold. I believed it, and so I spent a lot of time having fun instead of focusing on work. I remember I was about to sign a big lease with a famous show. I told my partners, "Don't worry, you guys will get this done." But when I came back, they hadn't done the work, and I wanted to do it perfectly. Then the market crashed in the 90s, and I was in trouble. But this was a great challenge to test myself. Could I handle the pressure? How can I handle stress? Do I have the intelligence and patience? If you can't handle pressure, you can't be truly great. As an entrepreneur, you need more than just vision, market acumen, and people skills. You also need something seemingly simple but incredibly important: attention to detail. Life is all about the little details. So is business. A seemingly small decision, a mistake in a contract, a delaying even a few hours, can have serious consequences. Therefore, successful people are not those who do everything big, but those who do the smallest things well. There is a famous saying, "Success is not about where you go, but about how you take each step." That is especially true for business people. When you build a company, a brand, or a product, you cannot ignore factors such as customer experience at each touch point, tone of voice in a customer care email, how to present a report, how you listen to employees, partners, or even how you answer a seemingly simple question in a meeting. Every small detail is a link in the overall value chain. If you ignore or take it lightly, sooner or later it will come back and create a loophole in the system. In business, carelessness always comes at a price, and that price is sometimes very high. Someone once joked, "A loose screw can bring down a plane." It sounds like an exaggeration, but it is very true when applied to business management. A defective product, a late delivery, a small error in calculation can affect customer trust, brand reputation, or the entire operating process. Robert, a famous thinker and entrepreneur, once said, "Sometimes the smallest things, like the little finger, are the things that help you keep your body balanced." The same is true in business. It is the small details that are the foundation that keeps the entire organization stable. That is why successful entrepreneurs always take the time to review each step, each stage, constantly asking, "Have I really optimized? Is there anything missing? Do customers feel comfortable? Do employees feel listened to?" Resilience, reflective thinking, and a spirit of continuous improvement are the hallmarks of a detail-oriented thinker. However, the most important thing is that we do not live forever to correct mistakes. This life is limited, and time is the most precious asset. We only have a short time to create value, to live fully, and to contribute the best to society. Achievements are truly joyful, but do not rest on your laurels. Keep moving forward, keep learning, and keep striving. Because a great entrepreneur is not only measured by what they achieve, but by how they keep moving forward after each success. Ultimately, the difference between good and excellent often lies in how much you care about every detail. And when you do it well, not only your work, but also your life will become much more polished, refined, and worth living. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow colleagues and seekers of truth, today I am not here to share numbers, data, or theories, but to inspire something deeper: faith in humanity, in science, and in the power of effort. We live in an era where change happens not just every year or every month, but every hour, every minute. We may witness great strides in technology, medicine, education, but behind each of these strides lies an immutable principle. Success does not come from pure luck. It comes from perseverance, from a process of relentless hard work. I want to tell you a story that I believe each of us can find ourselves in. Gary Player, a famous golfer, once shared a quote that I will never forget: "The harder I work, the luckier I feel." He didn't just say it. He lived it throughout his career. When Gary played in the U.S. Open, one of the toughest tournaments in golf, he hit the winning shot, a 5-putt, just a foot from the hole. And he made birdie, winning. When asked about his secret, he humbly replied, "I just know that I worked very hard, and the harder I worked, the luckier I got." That story made me think a lot. It's the same in science. In education, in research, in any field we pursue, luck only comes to those who are prepared, with a spirit of perseverance and continuous learning. Look back at the turning points in the history of science. Edison tried more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Marie Curie persevered for years in the lab to find new elements. Or the young scientists of Vietnam today who still silently contribute day and night, sometimes in conditions of great deprivation. They do not wait for luck. They create luck with their own hands and minds. In a volatile world where information is abundant and trust is sometimes shaken, what we need to maintain is the scientific spirit: steadfast, honest, curious, and never giving up. That is the guiding light through the difficulties. Doubt is the fire that keeps us warm when failure surrounds us. The belief that every small step today will lead to a giant leap tomorrow. And most of all, science is not a separate world, reserved only for laboratories and researchers. It is present in the way we explain natural phenomena, in the way we teach our children to ask questions, in the decisions we make every day when we choose what is right, not what is easy. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe in coincidence. I believe in preparation. I believe that anyone in this room, if they have a sincere heart, a spirit of inquiry, and an iron determination, can create something extraordinary. Today, I have not come to ask you to be extraordinary geniuses, nor have I come to ask you to do extraordinary things that are impossible. Instead, I stand here to invite you to do something close, practical, but extremely powerful. Become brave and persistent people. Life always poses countless challenges before us. And sometimes, the most difficult thing is not doing great things, but maintaining the determination to persevere in taking small steps every day. We do not need to be geniuses to succeed, but we certainly need to have the courage to start and the perseverance to not give up halfway. Each of us has our own aspirations, dreams, and goals. However, what makes the difference between successful people and those who are forever on the sidelines is not luck or innate talent, but the ability to act even when conditions are not perfect. It is the initiative of those who clearly know that opportunities do not knock on the door. We must be the ones to build opportunities for ourselves. You must have heard the story of Gary Player, the legendary golfer who devoted his life to the important shots. When he was asked about the secret to his great success in the major tournaments, his answer was extremely simple but powerful. The harder I work, the luckier I feel. Gary Player's success is not a story of chance, but a story of careful preparation and perseverance to the end. That is the biggest lesson we need to remember. Luck is not a random gift from the universe, but the result of the accumulation of days and hours of effort, of learning, and of perseverance towards the goal. Every hour you spend reading another book, learning a new skill, learning more about a field you love, is bringing you closer to success. Every minute you focus on improving yourself, every second you commit to not giving up despite difficulties, is a steady step that brings you closer to what people call luck. But more importantly, you must always be ready to act when the opportunity comes. Opportunity only has meaning when you have the courage to swing the club at the most important moment. If you are willing to do that, then like Gary Player, you will create the shot that completely changes your life. So today, start that journey with courage, perseverance, and belief in yourself. There is no easy road, but surely, when you walk with determination, every small step today will lead you to the future of your dreams. That journey begins today, and it starts with you. Thank you very much.